And welcome to this special live stream from Pennyhill Junction. So I'm doing this live video, as a celebration and a thank you for all my subscribers. I've just reached 500 subscribers in the last couple of days, which is a fantastic achievement, especially considering I only started this project 11 months ago, so I think it took around about 6 or 7 months to reach my first 100, and over the last 3 or 4 months it's gone quite crazy. So it's fantastic that so many of you are interested in this project, and it's great to have your support and have you on board. So let's start looking at some of the questions and who's joining us. I think I saw Pippin Junction, so Nathan at Pippin Junction, join us. Thank you, Ryan. When's the 800 coming? Good question. So the 800, from what I'm hearing from Hornby, I think Jason from Barnabas Junction and Stuart from Valleybrook were both at the Whalley show at the NEC last weekend or the weekend before, and they were informed that I think end of December, early January, I think the class 800 is due out from Hornby. The latest news from Hattons is that it's due out in February, so for me, the later the better, because I've been spending far too much money on locos recently, so it gives me a little bit of time to save up for that 800. So really the objective of this video today is to give you guys the opportunity to ask any questions you wish about the layout, what I've done so far. Also, if there's any questions about my plans for the future, sort of what's next on the agenda, and also some running of trains, of course. So if anyone wants any particular loco that I have in the fleet, they want to see that running around the layout, then please do let me know, and I'll happy get that sorted for you. So hello to Clever Lemon 20. So my favourite loco so far, Pippin Junction. Okay, bear with me. Let me just switch the camera over 1 second. Okay, so you can see it running on the layout at the moment. I've got my Great Western Railway Class 43. That's very close to being my favourite. That's certainly up there. But my actual favourite loco, Nathan, is still this one. My Bachmann Class 37, that's 37405. So apologies, the lighting up here isn't great. I'm still running off just one single floodlight. I won't point directly at it, don't want to blind you all. And I've also got, which may help, so a little bit, I've got a loft light on there which gives a little bit of a boost, but not a great deal. It should be the 68, right? Well, the fact that I've got 2 of them, perhaps yes it should, but there's still something about the Class 37 that I really like. It's just so reliable, runs so well, and the detail again is just fantastic. It's just typical of a Bachmann model. But yeah, I am very impressed with the new Class 68s. You'll see 68003 Astute, which is in the depot, and just running around at the moment. We have 68008 Avenger, just running light at the moment. So I do like the 68s, excellent model from Dapol. Well, what's my favourite steam loco? That's a good question, and I'm not sure if I have an answer. I think as a child, Brian, I think I was always fascinated by the A4s, particularly the Mallard. That was probably my favourite steam engine as a child. but I guess you can tell from my layout here that I'm very much into my sort of diesels and modern era locos. So Nathan Pippin Junction asks, have I ordered, I guess that's the railhead treatment train. No, I haven't yet. Again, that's something else which is on my wish list, a very long wish list. I do have one item of network rail in the fleet, and that is the network rail MPV. I am looking to have a very small network rail track maintenance unit in one section of the layout, so I will have some other network rail locos on the layout at some point. So how come I called the layout Pennyhill Junction? Okay, well, if you've ever watched my very first video, Pippin Junction, I do explain in that video how the layout came about, the name of Pennyhill Junction. I actually live in a small town called Camberley in Surrey, and the estate which I live on, right next to the estate, is Pennyhill Park Hotel and Spa. So it's quite a well-known hotel. The England Rugby Union team train there regularly. It's a very expensive hotel to stay in, very luxurious. So I took the name Pennyhill from the hotel. And actually, talking about naming of the layout, some of you may have picked up from some of my previous videos that the name of my depot is Old Dean Common Depot. So it does have a take on Old Oak Common. That's what I'm sort of trying to replicate. But the reason I call it Old Dean Common is because the estate that I live in Camberley is called the Old Dean Estate. And the Old Dean Estate was built on the Old Dean Common, which some of it obviously still exists to this date. What cars do I have, Brian? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, some of these cars, Brian, I inherited from my next door neighbour. He's in his late 70s now, and he had a layout for many years, and he's recently taken it down simply because he can't get into the loft anymore. So I've got, what have I got there? I've got 3 black cabs. This one is not even sure what type of car that is. I don't know if it's like a Chrysler or something. I've got a Lexus, a BMW, Porsche, and also a Mini. But these are my recent purchases. I actually got these from the Old Oak Common Open Day back in September. So I've got a CityLink, Network Rail, an AA, and also a Royal Mail van. Okay, so what's happening next on the layout? So the next thing I'm looking to do, I think progress has been a little slow over the last few weeks, been very busy at work and also in personal life. Obviously it's coming up to Christmas, so lots going on. But in terms of the next step, I've got almost 2 weeks off over the Christmas period. So this section here, this end here, which eventually will be a village scene. So I've just put some of my buildings. I've got some Metcalfe and Bachmann Scenecraft buildings here. That's not where they're going to go, but I've just put them there on display for now. But this area here will be my village. At the back here, where I have my elevated express lines, this will be a viaduct, and then behind the viaduct must be a sort of hillside back scene, which I have recently purchased. If I can just grab that. So it's the ID back scenes, and it's called Hills and Dales, Series 207 Hills and Dales. So that's going to go across that back section there, so I'll get the back scenes in place. and then the idea will then be to continue the back seam boards right around the layout. And once the back seam boards are in place, I can then make a start in installing the elevated express lines, which will then give me four continuous main lines for running trains on. Okay, good evening Barnabas Junction. Hi Jason, thanks for joining. So guys, is there any particular parts of the layout that you guys would like to see? Again, I must apologise for the lighting, it's still not great up here. What I will hope to do in the new year, once I get the funds, you'll see if I look up into the ceiling, into the roof beam. So I have installed one fluorescent light. It's not wired up yet. Once it is, that will brighten the place up a heck of a lot. But the plan is not just to have the one single one there, I'm also going to have one across that beam and do the same down that end as well. So it should, hopefully in the new year, be well lit up and hopefully provide some better quality videos. So for insulation, I've just used the foil insulation. I got that from Wicks. I think I got it from Wicks. If you're familiar with Wicks, obviously a sort of DIY store here in the UK. I think the rolls were about 400, no, what were they? I think about 800mm in width. Try and look at it now. I think about 4 meters long each roll. And about 400mm wide, if I remember correctly. I think it's about £15 a roll. And I think I had to use five or six rolls to cover the roof. But I have to say the insulation has made a big difference. You know, I think I installed it in late spring, so it's been right through the summer. So even on the hottest days, it was quite warm up here, but it was bearable on most days. And we look at today, which is probably one of the coldest days of winter so far. And I've been up here on and off for about 3 hours now. So I've had the lights on, I've had trains running. I've also got a small heater, which is helping keep the temperature comfortable. But even when I come up here, I say it wasn't too bad. There's no condensation. So it does keep the temperature nice and consistent up here. So Jason Barnabas asks, I believe you're planning a rear upper level. Will you have enough clearance against the roof slope? Yes. So let me just go and get a steel rule. So to give you an idea of the distance, hopefully without doing a valley brook and knocking any trains off. So this is a 150mm steel rule. So I'm looking to have my elevated section at 100mm high. So if I put that there, that's right up against the edge. 160, 70. So we're looking at probably about 180mm. So there's still going to be a clearance of around 80mm. So what am I using for the viaduct? Oh, first hello to John Warner, thank you, hi from Northampton. And Brian asks, what am I using for the viaducts? So I'm actually gonna have a go at using initially just using the Metcalfe red brick viaduct. And see what that looks like. I think my long-term plan, I want to try and scratch build a lot of my bridges and retaining walls, etc., using plastic hard and painting them. But I think initially I'll probably just use some of the Metcalf card kits until I've had a bit of practice, got the necessary equipment like airbrushes, etc., and then have an attempt at scratch building and using those skills. Indeed, yes, they are good kits, Brian. So as you can see at the moment, as I mentioned, I've got the Great Western Railways Class 43 going around the layout. I've also got one of my most recent purchases, and that's the Class 68 008 Avenger. Can we see the 68s running double head? Well, I would like to do that. I mean, I can have a go if you really want me to, Jason, but I found still that I'm having trouble with the couplings when running double-headed. But we can certainly have a go. What I'll do is, let me just what system am I using, Brian? I am using the Hornby Elite. Okay, so let's bring the 68 round. Right, so special request from Barnabas Junction to run double-headed 68. Apologies in advance if it derails. I have had some issues with the coupling when running double-headed. I've just had a message pop up saying very bad connection, so hopefully you're not experiencing that. Okay, yeah, apologies Brian, it's still coming up saying bad connection. Not sure why. It's showing us getting full Wi-Fi. Okay, so for the benefit of those that perhaps are interested in getting the Hornby Elite, or I know Susanna, formerly Beringer and District, has just recently got the Hornby Elite. So what I'm going to do is turn this into a double header. So first thing we've got to do is create the group. Probably the snow. Don't say that, Brian. I don't want any snow down here. So create the group. So the address for my two locos, my two 68s, address number 9 is Astute. Oh, made a mistake there. Try that again. Set menu, double header, create group. Right, so create the group address. 15 centimeters of snow. If we had 15 centimeters of snow in this area, whole village would come to a standstill. Unfortunately, I say we live on top of a hill, and there's no getting out of it when the snow comes down. So sorry, right, I'm getting distracted now. Address number 11. So what part of the world do I live in? So it's Camberley. Pennyhill is in Camberley in Surrey. So that's in the southeast of England. Address number 11. Okay, so now loco address. So number 9 is Astute. 10 is Avenger. So now I choose my loco address number 11. Now if I turn back round, we should now have them running double-headed. There you go, Barnabas, especially for you. Yeah, double heading. The problem I'm having with double heading, I said this is the first time I've used the double heading function, John, on the Elite, and if you can just, I don't know if you can see closely there, the coupling is an absolute nightmare on these 68s. I think because there's an issue with matching speeds. You can see this, it's slightly pulling away. They've come uncoupled on that bend and now they're starting to pull away. So I need to sort of sit down and work out how I can speed match these two locos, or perhaps maybe get something like some KD couplers, might help improve things. I think what doesn't help the 68s is the couplers are on the actual chassis rather than on the bogies. Thank you, Peter. Thanks for joining. So yes, Barnabas, Jason, they do look good together. And so it's just a bit of a nuisance. That they keep having those uncoupling issues, as you can see there. There's definitely a mismatch in speed. So it's a bit dark down that end. So I'll just take you back to the depot, so you can have a quick look at my fleet. If there's anything you guys would like to see running, please do let me know. Also have in platform 1 at Pennyhill Junction Station, in class 450. Which is a lovely loco, a lovely unit. I know that Barnabas Junction has recently purchased, I think it's the London Midlands 350. Yes, absolutely, I'll run the 450. What I do is I'll park up the 68s and let's get the 450 running. Oh! We've had our first cock up. There we go. Got to flick the point back. So I'll just get the 68s out of the way. And then I'll get the 450 going round. But as you can see there, that's one full circuit, and the locos are separated there by about 4 inches. So let's go back to the Elite. So the 450 is address number 6. You can see with the Elites, you can actually name name your address, or give your address a name, and I just give it the running number of each loco. So let's get the 450 on its way. Yes, DCC can be a little confusing at first. I mean, I was quite nervous about going DCC. I mean, it was always my plan to make this layout DCC, but for the first couple of months when my first loop of track was installed, it was just DC. I think my fear was more about the wiring, etc. But once I got my head around it, yeah, there's definitely no going back. DCC all the way now. So, someone's mentioned that class 47. So that's Darren. Hi Darren. What 47s do you have? Can we see one running? I don't actually have any 47s. What I do have is their successor, which is a class 57. And that's the Great Western Railway livery. Tintagel Castle. So I usually have Tintagel Castle pulling the Night Riviera sleeper, which are these Mark III coaches here. So a couple of tourist open coaches, plus the sleeper cars there. So in a short while, perhaps we can get the class 43 back into shed. Thank you DRS 66421. Yeah, no, please. I say, considering I only started this project in January, you know, I've got a fleet of 10 now already, so it's grown quite quickly. And of course, we're going modern era. all these locos are very expensive. Oh, we've had another accident. See, that's what happens when you get distracted. We've had a head-on collision between a 450 and a 68. Good job that was done at slow speed. So let's back that up. Alright, let's flip the point. So this is the fun of having to operate points manually at the moment. It can get quite confusing. I am in the process of installing point motors. I have one in place so far, and that's this one here, which I can try and give a flick. So that's one point motor I have in place, and that is, I don't know if it will show up, it's quite dark under there. No, it's very dark, but it is here's the Pico point motor. Oh, and we had another short, another point I forgot to change. Okay, so anyone have any further questions about the layout? Again, what I've done so far. Now, I started this project at the end of January this year, so basically 11 months into it now. Try and take the camera into another position, something a bit lighter. So a few moments ago I touched on some of these buildings that I have. So you can see there I've got the Metcalfe service station. Now I did have the service station stuck down. You'll see this white bit of card here. That was stuck to the board. I had every intention of keeping it there, but the problem was I stuck it down before I completed the laying of the track. And this entrance into platform 1 and 2, unfortunately, come further down than I imagined, and it ended up, as you can see there, ended up actually going through the back of the service station. So I had to pull it up, and yeah, I think at some point I may take this all up. This is Metcalfe, this is all Metcalfe, so it's Metcalfe adhesive paving slabs. The walls are literally leftovers from this here, the semi-detached houses. Also got the Metcalfe tarmac sheets, but I think going forward, this area I want to try and use the polyfiller method. I know it's going to be messy, but a lot of the layouts I've seen that have used sort of polyfiller for the road services, etc., look really good. Here's the track plan, all my own thoughts. Yeah, sorry, we've got a bit of a bad connection again. So yeah, it's pretty much my own thoughts. I mean, I've looked at obviously many other layouts on YouTube, etc. So let me just try and bring up my track plan for you to see. So this is my track plan. So you'll see that the red and green loops are done. Red is the main line up, green is the main line down. The majority of the yellow section is now done. See, this bottom section is the depot behind us. That's that section here. See in front of us here, we have the station. So the next project in terms of track laying will be the TMD, which I'm actually going to turn into a DRS, so a direct rail services depot, and that's going to go in that open section there. And then finally, as I mentioned earlier, once the back seam boards are all in place, then I'll make a start on this elevated section, so the blue section, which will go right around the perimeter. And I'll say that's going to be sort of my high speed line, which will have my class 43s running on that, as well as the class 800 IET when that eventually arrives in the new year. Yes, it is ambitious, but so far so good, Alan. I think the only actual change that I've made from my original plan, Alan, is this section here. So what I did have originally, I think I had the point was a bit further down, and then I had you'll see that perhaps in some of my previous videos, I had this sort of wavy bend here, which joins the two main lines together, and particularly when the HST went through, it just didn't look right with the sort of snake effect. So what I did is I actually increased the radius of the curve to make it a much more smoother transition. So yeah, check out some of my previous videos and you'll see exactly what it was like when I first laid the track in this corner area, and what it looks like now, and I'm sure you'll agree that it looks far better now. Let's try and find a view where we stay fairly well lit. Okay, so how big is the layout? So the layout is, I believe it's just shy of 16 foot long and just shy of 10 foot wide, I believe. So about 16 foot by 10 foot roughly. And the boards themselves are about 3 feet deep. So Gary, you asked, am I going to get any steam trains? I think I will at some point. A question was asked at the beginning, I think it came from Brian. Brian asked what my favourite steam loco was. So, I mean, as a child, it was the A4, particularly the Mallard. So, I'll probably look to get one of those on the layout. I did, if you check out some of my earlier videos, I actually did have an old DC Flying Scotsman, which was 20 years old and in fantastic condition. Amongst many other locos, but I actually decided to sell that on to help fund my new locos. So at some point I probably may look to get the Flying Scotsman again, and perhaps with sound as well. But the plans for this layout is very much modern era. So I may have one or two which I might put on rail tour duties. But that will be it really, I think, as far as steam goes. So Alan, yours is 15 foot by 10, so it sounds like, yeah, very similar sort of size. I say 16 foot by 10 for mine. As I say, it's just short of that. But yeah, I know there are some much bigger layouts out there, but I think this is enough for me. I mean, I've been working on this for 11 months. It took me the best part of 4 months to get the sort of loft converted and habitable, and also get the baseboard in place. When I started at the beginning of the year, there was no flooring in here, no insulation, and obviously created all the baseboards and the frameworks myself. So I think that was all done by May, and it was shortly after my birthday in May, so mid-May, that I then started to lay down the track. So here we are, sort of six, nearly 7 months later since the first track went down. There's quite a lot down now, but still an awful lot to go. So, but there's no rush. I say this is a lifetime project. For the next 10, 15, 20 years, maybe beyond that. So I'm in no rush, and yeah, just enjoying the journey at the moment, and hopefully you guys are too. Right, now, if someone asked about the class 57, having that running, I think what I'll do in a second is I'll bring in, let's just stop 450 for a moment. So I'm just going to bring the class 43 into the shed. So Barnabas asked, will I be fitting third rail for the 450? Yeah, I think I probably will, Jason. So I think these two lines, so these are the main lines, which primarily like the 450s and my EMU, DMUs will be operating on. So I'll look to have third rail on those two lines, and obviously it will have to be all lines through the station. The upper level, the express lines, I may, because I'm going to be having the 800, I may look to get some cantinery up there, so it's more prototypical to the Great Western Main Line. Has it gone through today? So it keeps doing that. Yeah, so this is the only install frog point that I've got on the layout at the moment. And unfortunately, when that 43 goes through, it just keeps cutting out. All my other turnouts are electro frog, and I will replace that one at some point. So just putting the 43 into shed. Look at that, peace and quiet. Okay, so I'll get the 57 out. The 57 hasn't been run today, and I say as it's been cold, it might not run on the first attempt. Ah, there we go, no issues. One of Bachmann's finest. I'm sure Barnabas will agree that the Bachmann Class 57 is a very special loco. I know Jason at Barnabas has just recently purchased the DRS 57, which is basically an identical model. Yes, that's right, the famous Tintagel Castle. Recently seen flying around the West Coast Main Line at Barnabas and Valleybrook. So for those who are not sure what I'm referring to, I recently paid a live visit to Barnabas Junction and Valleybrook. So if you don't subscribe to those channels, I encourage you to do so. Two great channels. And so yeah, a few weeks back, following a visit up to Liverpool with my son to go and watch the football, on the way back the following day, we stayed overnight at a hotel in Crewe, and just a stone's throw away from the hotel in Crewe is Barnabas Junction and Valleybrook. So Stuart and Jason kindly invited us along go and see the layout. And yeah, we had a couple of fantastic live sessions. So you can check all the live sessions out on all 3 channels. We were broadcasting simultaneously, and yeah, it was good fun. A good morning and afternoon spent. Something we'll have to do again. There we go, Tintagel Castle. Pull in a Night Riviera. Let's get the 450 going again. Right, so let's go back to the computer, see if we've got any more questions. Have I ordered GWR Mark III sleeper coaches? Question from Gary. No, I haven't. So I do understand that they're available from Kerno Model Railways on pre-order. I think they're about £90 for the 3. So that is something that interests me. I would like to get those, but at the moment I'll say it's not top of my wish list. I've got another point's gone. So at the moment I've got top of my wish list is the Class 800 IET, and I think most of you know that's in excess of £300, and that's due out in the next couple of months. So pretty much saving for that now. I've recently purchased two Class 68s. Thanks for joining, Alan. Take care. So I've recently purchased the 2 Class 68s. They were sort of spontaneous purchase, really. They weren't on my initial plans. So I'd probably blame Jason again at Barnabas Junction for costing me about £260 on 2 68s. It was my my trip to Crewe, particularly Barnabas Junction, and seeing his Class 68, and then going past the Gresty Bridge depot in Crewe, which is a DRS depot, has certainly converted me to DRS. Hence the yes, you do get blamed for a lot recently, but hence the reason I'm now going for a DRS depot. I'll say I've definitely caught the DRS bug. I've got 2 68s. I've also got the DRS Class 37, and yeah, plan to get a few more. Yeah, that wallet has taken a big hit, Jason. It really has. But to be honest, the whole year's been like that. I dread to think how much I've spent in the last year on obviously converting the loft, the baseboards, track, and my fleet. Yeah, that's right, Gary. The Class 800 does look nice. I mean, I haven't seen it in the flesh yet. Obviously, the real thing I've seen, but not the model. Jason from Barnabas and Stuart from Valleybrook, they were at the Worley show just last week or the week before, and they did a live stream, and they and Hornby had the Class 800 on display, and yeah, it did look good. At the time that they were running it, they didn't have any of the lights on, but they did say that it will have obviously front and rear or directional lighting, but also internal lighting, which is a nice touch. I've got the internal lighting on the Class 450, as you'll see as it goes past there. Hard to make out the lighting, but it has got internal lighting, and yeah, I really do like that feature in the 450, so I'm very pleased that the 800 will also have the internal lighting. Yes, Dunswood. Yeah, I've had a number of conversations about some of my recent purchases. The problem is, what generally happens is when I purchase something, you know, I have to buy the wife something in exchange, and you know, just to be fair. So if I'm spending £200 on a Loco, I'm actually spending about £400, because I obviously have to be fair and all that. So John, you ask, am I getting some GWR DMUs? Yes, I am indeed. I've got two of the Bachmann DMUs on pre-order, the Class 166, and I think it might be a Class 150. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's two Bachmann GWR DMUs which I've got on pre-order at the moment. No idea when the release date is on for those models, but yeah, hopefully in the next 12 months or so there'll be another addition to the layout. Okay, so I've been online now for about 55 minutes, so I was looking to sort of wrap up around 9 o'clock. I know I've had to compete with I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here this evening, so to all of those that have joined, you know, really appreciate you coming on and watching. Hopefully it's been some interesting viewing. You know, I've tried to answer as many questions as I can. Apologies if I've missed any. But again, please share this channel. You know, there's going to be a lot more to come from Pennyhill Junction over the next couple of months or so. Hopefully with some time off over Christmas, I can really ramp up the progress as well, and hopefully lots to share with you in further update videos. Oh, another question there from Barnabas. Am I planning to have any canopies on the platforms? And will they be going over the track or just long platforms? I haven't decided that as yet. So in terms of my station building, so my main station building, I'm looking at the Faller, I think it's Faller, so it's a German manufacturer. They do a modern station building. I think it's based on, I can't remember exactly what the German station's name is, but it's a very modern looking station building, so I'm planning to get that. Faller also do modern footbridges, so I'm looking to have that as well going across from each of the platforms. But in terms of these station canopies, there's nothing on the market that really fits what I want at the moment. So I may have to go down the route that you took, Jason, and scratch build something. So I'm not sure yet. We'll wait and see. But yeah, as I said, there's nothing really on the market in terms of platform canopies that really sort of what I think fits what I'm going for in terms of my station. Okay, so what I'll do for the last couple of minutes, I'll just give you a quick final tour of the layout. So this side here, as I say, is Pennyhill Junction Station. So this is where the main station area will be, the station concourse, main station building. This will be platform 1, platforms 2, 3, 4 and 5. and then at the end here there'll be a retaining wall, and then we'll have the upper elevated section. Snog, marry, avoid. Where have I heard that question from before? That sounds like a new Junction question. Hang on, let's have a look again. Shall we got? Oh, that is a tough one, Jason. 43, 450, 68. Oh, that is a tough. Well, I think I'd marry the 450. I mean, sorry, marry the 43, the class 43, the HST. And the HST, we've got a couple of them there. So we've got one in GWR and also one in First Great Western livery. So I think I've married a class 43 because it's still going strong after 40 years. So there's definitely some longevity there. You know, definitely marriage material. Snog, wow. That's a tough one. I couldn't avoid either the 68 or the 450. I think the 450 probably just edges it over the 68. But would I avoid it? No, I couldn't avoid it. I mean, look, that's a pretty special loco. So you've got me stumped there, Jason. Right. I just can't decide. So anyway, quick layout tour I was doing. So this is the station area. So 5 platforms. I take it to the right. So this will be the entrance into Pennyhill village. And so this is temporary. This was just a test of some of the Metcalf materials that I purchased. So this is it's likely that this will all come up, and I'm going to go down the polyfiller method for all my tarmac. So then this will come, the village will come into here. What I will do, once I've obviously got the back scene in place and I've started building the scenery out, I am then actually going to, because I can access that back area simply by going under the baseboard, what I'm going to do is utilise this space here and have an extension on the baseboard. Then literally all this area here will be the village. So I'll probably have the church in the middle, the village hall close behind, and then sort of surrounding the village I'll have some terrace houses, semi-detached houses, etc. So you'll see there that I've got the Bachmann burger bar drive-through. So that won't be in this area. I mean, that will be sort of completely out of place for the type of village. But up at the back end of the station, over there in that far corner, again up on the elevated section, will be sort of an industrial area where I have a retail area rather, where I have some various shops and also the burger bar. Signal box won't stay there, so that's just there at the moment to fill a gap. The signal box, of course, will be over at the far end of the station. And this is old Dean Common Depot. So this is really sort of a train care sort of storage depot. So the sheds will be primarily for the HSTs or EMU DMU maintenance, and these will simply be just carriage sidings simply for storage. And as we come to the far end, this area here, as I say, will be a TMD, or is going to be my DRS depot. So that's all for now. So I'm just coming up to the hour, so I think I'm going to wrap things up for now. So thanks again to all that have tuned in. Hope you've enjoyed this evening's entertainment, and yeah, please remember to, if you haven't already done so, hit subscribe, share the channel, and hopefully you'll stay tuned for for some further updates in the very near future. So I'll just switch to camera and just say thanks again, farewell to you all. That's bye from me, Jamie at Pennyhill Junction. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.